Enigma here says Rice is not a lone six. He is a good ball winner and an engine. He is not technical enough. Partey is always be the most important player for Arsenal. Most important. Did you agree with that, Gunas?
Yes.
Partey's the most important player.
I feel like he's in that role as well. He's important because he can do that. Well, he's used to the system. He's used to playing in that position as a DM in our system. So I feel like even in the preseason games, Rice played there before as a lone six, and he looked out of it. He didn't really know where he was on the pitch, and he didn't know where to go, where to cover. So I feel like Partey is very important to staying in that position. And maybe we can try Rice in those positions, but in lesser games, like not important games like that. Because
you only have to look at how our midfield dies when Thomas Partey comes off the pitch.
We look completely different as a team.
Yeah.
I have an idea how Arsenal should play to get the best out of the 100 million. And I don't think I said it on the terrace before. But go ahead, Terry. Just do the super.
No, go on. Tell us. I'm interested.
To be honest, the only way to for now to get the better out of them is to play both of them and have three at the back: Saliba, Gabriel, and Ben White. And now you can play Odegaard and someone else behind the striker. There is no other. I think, in my opinion, there is no other way. The problem with Declan Rice is he's not offensive enough, and he's not as good as a lone six. So you'll have to play him next to Partey, and to compensate for the lack of presence in the opposition's half, you'll have to play Odegaard and Trossard probably behind Havertz, or Odegaard and Havertz behind Trossard, which is what City did at the end. They played two defensive midfielders and three in the back. There's no other way. Otherwise, they're gonna keep forcing Rice on the 8. He's not offensively good enough, so he will drop next to Partey, and Timber is defensive because Ben White isn't offensive. You're basically defending with 6 players today, what you shouldn't have. That's my opinion.
Mo, don't you think that Mikel Arteta can kind of train that into Rice? Because I genuinely feel like Mikel Arteta can train that into him. He can make him more of an attacking player.
It might be too late, Sad. For that to happen, it might be too late. The thing about it, when Pep Guardiola changed the way they play to 2 behind the striker because of Haaland staying in the 18, that worked, right? And he had John Stones next to Rodri. You have a lot of players that can do that. You have Zinchenko, you have Timber. So even if someone gets injured, you can play that system. I know it's copying what Pep is doing, but you bought a 105 million player, and he isn't a number 8, not a number 6.
There we go. This says Brandon Haaland didn't have a shot on goal today, is what Anthony said. And then Laka also said, who is on Haaland's level in this league? It's true.
No one.
I mean, that's true. That's true. But there is better strikers out there than Eddie Nketiah. I would agree with Brandon there. Terry, none of these Arsenal fans on the panel have anything positive to say. When we win, they find fault. When we lose, they find fault.
Nah, I disagree with that. Come on, man. Community should... to be
Brandon definitely. Brandon 100%. You know, Lee Gunner's son. We know that, right?
Nothing positive to say, Tel. Nothing at all. No.
I appreciate the super chat, bro. Had Casemiro done what Rodri did, straight life ban, I agree. 100%. He'd be in prison right now. We need a better box-to-box 8 to keep Partey and Rice rotate the 6. We need a forward, right winger striker and Raya. I think that means to try and win.
You don't need Raya. You really don't. You just
saw what
Ramsdale did. No, it's not that I don't rate him. I just don't see the positives in bringing him in.
He's not a massive upgrade on Ramsdale. I don't get it.
Go on, Brandon. Give us your thoughts. Make sure it's positive.
David Raya's distribution is a lot better than Aaron Ramsdale's. Oh, hang on. People in the comments will be saying, don't be negative on Ramsdale. But in all honesty, no, seriously, David Raya's distribution is a lot better than Ramsdale. So in these type of games like today, where we don't have the majority of the possession and we're under pressure, you can isolate your wingers better at 1v1 against the opposition's defenders, because your goalkeeper, like Onana at Manchester United, 9 times out of 10 with them long balls will find that player and I'll be able to isolate him 1v1. Ramsdale, his distribution's all right, but it's not of that level.
I hear you there. What DM should Arsenal go get, though? Any thoughts? Or maybe Zinni in the 8 and Timber at right back, Kiwior left back, and then Partey as the 6. Odegaard. I mean, you've got Partey. I just don't see why you need
Caicedo all in.
If you get Caicedo, Rice, and Partey, you're just asking for issues, because they're literally all a slight different version of each other. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Partey struggled in the lone six at first. So did Rodri. Every player has to adjust in that role. Rice will be good. Rams being class since the Raya links. True, he's up to his game. That's half what it was for. We had another super chat just come through, and then I'm going to ask a question about City. You need to defend like that against City. Against smaller teams, we won't have to. But this City team is the best in Europe or best in the world. Arteta's plan works. That's also true. This isn't the barometer of how that you have to play in 95% of your games. Did City struggle without Gundogan? And a wider question is, does City look as good? Is this typical for them in the Community Shield game? Or did anyone notice holes in the City team today that could be exploited by rivals?
You know, I'm just gonna go first, guys. What I'm gonna say about City is City are notorious for starting off seasons very, very slowly. So I don't take anything that happens with the game in the Community Shield or the first 5 to 10 games. Because City, they turn on when it's the last run-in, the last 10 games. That's when you see the real City. That's when they're clocked on. That's it. They're doing it. But if they start slowly, we've seen through numerous previous seasons that City can start off slow. They'll still turn it on, and they'll still be able to eventually get over that hurdle and win the league. They've done it countless amounts of times, and they'll still do it again. So I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh my God, City looked slow. They looked like they're off their game. They looked like they're missing players, like they're missing Gundogan." Because I feel like that with Pep, he'll always find a solution. He always seems to find a solution, whether he's bringing in players, whether he's bringing in youngsters. Like he always seems to find a solution. So if they have Pep in that team and managing that team, they'll always have a solution. They'll always have an answer.
What I would say is, I thought Kovacic did all right for City, but you see the difference when Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden came on. They looked a lot better, and they attacked a lot better in that second half. So, yeah, I do think Gundogan will be a bit of a miss for Manchester City because he was their captain. He was clutch for them in the big moments last season. It wasn't actually Haaland that came up with the goals in the FA Cup final and Champions League and all that. It was Gundogan. So he will be a big miss for Manchester City, no doubt.
I think Pep was mainly experimenting today, just seeing what can work and what can't. And when you look at a midfield, well, not really a midfield three, but like a Rodri, Kovacic, and Alvarez, there's not really much creativity in that. Like Kovacic is a great player and he can dribble and he's really good at driving the ball, but he's not very creative. And Alvarez is a striker who's also not very creative. So I just felt like City, not that they were playing within themselves, but I don't feel like they properly set up to try and win the game. I think they were trying to see if we're in a situation where we've got to come play Arsenal and we need a draw or a win, can we do it with this lineup? That's what I literally think was going on. Can we play this formation?
That's it. I guess, David, that's it. He was just nothing. He was like, can we try 4 in the back and 2 and a pivot and Alva and 2 forwards, one behind the other? It just didn't work. Yeah. And he's like, okay, I'll bring Foden, I'll bring KDB, and the creativity appeared. I think Pep took the game seriously, but also was trying things instead of playing his best 11.
It's the thing with the Community Shield. It's a nice trophy to win. It is. I'd rather win it than lose it. But it's a game that if you lose, you're not massively criticised for. If he did that in an FA Cup final or a League Cup or Champions League final, you'd be ripped into. You don't want to be doing it away against Burnley opening day of the season because you want to get your 3 points. So it is right for him to experiment. Look, a few weeks back, I did a video saying City could be in big trouble. That was based on if Silva, Walker left as well as Gundogan and Mahrez, and that hasn't come to fruition. They started today. What I would say is if they do leave, because there's still big links to them leaving, I don't think they will, but if they were to and they didn't bring in replacements, there would be a slight issue for City, and that is having the strength in depth, because they were still today able to bring on KDB and Phil Foden. But if you take Bernardo Silva and Walker away from that squad, the drop off in quality for the next players coming in is massive, because those guys are 2 of the greatest in their club's history. But look, I've said it to a lot of people already. City, for me, still the favourites for the Premier League. I think today was a very good result for Arsenal psychologically to not lose again to them, to come from behind. It will feel nice to go up there and get a medal and lift a trophy. Really good before their Premier League season starts. But to write this Man City team off now, I think he's wrong. Again, most people would say. I think that anyone getting their hopes up that they're going to have a terrible season and sort of fall away and, you know, be 20 points off the top of the league title, I think listen, I want that to happen, but that is wishful thinking at this moment in time. Personally, is what I think there. This year says 65 million for Havertz. We could have got 35 million and bought Kane. Or add 35 million and buy Kane. Yeah, but the Spurs wouldn't sell him to you. So I get you, but they wouldn't do that. Oh, look, the Gunners did it. Congrats. It took you guys finally grow a spine, is what Debbie says here. Hope you're well, Debbie. Brandon, as Lee Gunner's son, says, get in the bin. Brandon is learning quite well from Lee. He's so negative, he can find a problem with every solution. This year from Carter, he says, great win, showed quality today and great defending. Rival will say it's pre-season, but both teams were fighting for it today, ready for a new season. Yeah, both teams did play hard. Both teams, you could tell both teams wanting to win by the reactions to the goals and missing the penalties. Like, there is definitely a competitiveness there.